Well, welcome back to the channel where we will be creating our user interface or the interface for selecting different car in our parking game. So, of the last video, we took a look how to set up a vehicle using vehicle body, and then in this video we are going to show you exactly how to make a interface for selecting different cars. In this current project, I've added a couple of things like the texture buttons, the PA. In this project, I've added a couple of things like images for our texture button, and I've created other two vehicle scenes, added another two scenes, vehicle scenes levels. I created some folders to put on my scripts on. So yeah, I'm going to start by creating a stage where our car will be reviewed on. Select the main and add a child called mesh instance. Add a mesh instance, then rename it to stage, and for our mesh we are going to create a new cylinder mesh, and select the edge to extend the properties. We select 4 here for our top radius as well as the bottom radius. So we are going to just change our height to 0.5. Height to 0.5. Our rings to 2, exactly 2. Then I'm going to create a tri-mesh static body. Let's just hide that. Let's create our new material. Go to albedo section. Let's just make it a dark gray. Yeah, that's it. Let's add a position 3D. Let's name it rename it drop position, and that's it. Now we can go ahead and save our theme, and then now we can go ahead and create a script. Let's create a script in our main. We are going to call it main. Let's go ahead and create a script in our main, in our special node main. Let's select the folder. Let's see, scenes, scripts, main, then hit create. Firstly, we are going to create an onReady variable. We are going to just name it vehicle array. In this array, we are just going to preload is going to hold our vehicle scenes. So let's preload. Let's preload our first vehicle scene. Let's open this. Let's go to folder for scenes, vehicle scenes. Let's start by selecting. Let's drag and drop here the push, and then we preload another. Let's drag and drop again. Let's preload again and drop the last car. Okay, now let's just make this look cool. Now we are done with our array variable. Let's create another variable. We are just going to call this variable current. For now it will be equals to 0. For now let's just set it to 0 and to 0. So let's create our drop function. Let's say func drop vehicle. Now let's write our function for our drop vehicle. We are going to create a variable called current vehicle. It will be equal to vehicle array, and the index that we are going to choose is going to be our current. I'm going to just put current variable here. So this variable will be equal to this value. If we change here to 1, then our current variable will not 1, it will be equal to this value here, this vehicle here. So let's create our variable for our vehicle. Let's create another variable vehicle. Then it will be current vehicle dot in instance. Then so now we have to set our new vehicle. We have to create we have to change the position to match the position of a drop position. So now we are going to say vehicle dot translation dot translation equals to the translation of a drop position. Now we are going to say get node drop position dot translation. Then let's go ahead and create another node special. We're going to just call it preview base. Let's go back to our script editor. Now we are going to add this vehicle under the preview base so that we can access it a bit better for when we want to queue the vehicle free, so that we can drop another vehicle. Now let's get node again. We are going to get a preview base and add our child vehicle. Now we can go and test our scene, see if everything works. We actually did not call the drop function vehicle. We are going to just call our function in the ready function, our drop function in the ready function. Let's copy here. Let's paste here. Let's rerun. Let's see. You can see that the vehicle drops, but there you can see that it is working, but there's no camera in our scene, so we don't want our vehicle camera to be shown. You can see it works, but yeah, we have a problem here. Our main scene is using the camera from the vehicle. We want to create a camera in our main scene. We want to use a camera from our main scene. Let's just go ahead and create a camera, and we are going to drag here and position it here so that it can be set as current. So let's just reposition it, drag it to the Y. Now let's run our scene again, and now we're done with repositioning our car. I think it looks nice. Yeah, I think it looks great. Now let's change let's change the current to 0 again. Let's check what will happen. Yeah, it works perfectly. Now we have to create our button for controlling now we have to add our texture button. Firstly, we are going to add our UI node. Let's add our control node. And resize it from hit control, perfectly resize it to match our screen. Now let's add a box container. Let's move it to some place like here, and then we can add our texture button as a child of box container. Go to successfully hit export. Let's go again to size flags, hit expand, horizontal and vertical, and then just rename this to previous. Let's duplicate it and rename it to play. And rename this to previous, and let's duplicate again and rename it to next. Now you can see that our box container, I have set everything quite definable. And let's go to our assets folder, open up PNGs. Let's start with the play button. Let's drag the play normal and let's open here. Let's drag and drop our play normal to our normal texture slot, and play pressed to press slot, play hover to hover, and do the same process to other two buttons. Let's load our scene. Let's run our scene and see how it looks. You can see that when we hover, the texture change. When I press the button, also the texture change, to indicate that we are hovering over the play button, we are pressing the play button, and does the same to all other two buttons. Now let's just reposition this. looks fine. Now everything is working as I expected, so now we can go ahead and create a functionality for our button. So we are going to start with the next button. Go to we are going to just connect our button up signal. Connect our button up signal to our main screen. Let's write our if statement. If current is equals to vehicle array dot size -1 then let's set our current back to 0, and then else current equals to plus equals to 1, get child. Now then get node the preview base dot its first child. So get node preview and get child, the first child, and we want to queue that child free. Queue that child free. Then drop. Then execute the drop vehicle function. That will be it. Let's test this thing out. You can see it works perfectly. Now let me explain what's going on here. In this if statement, we are checking if our vehicle array is equal to this. When we press the next button, if our equal array is equals to this last car scene, we want to set our current to the first position, to the 0, so that we can access the first car again, because there is no other car here. So we are resetting our current to 0. This is the maximum. But if this condition is not true, we are just going to increase our current by 1, which means the current will be equal to the next car on the array, and then we'll go ahead and queue the car from our preview base that we initially added when we enter our main scene. So that means there are no car in the main scene on our preview base special. That means we are going to drop a vehicle, create functionality for our preview button. Again, we are going to connect a signal for button up in our preview button. So essentially we are going to just copy the same code and paste it here. Then we are going to just mirror everything. Where it is positive, we are going to create it could be a negative. Where it was a positive, we are going to just mirror the signs. Where it is negative, we are going to put positive. Where it was positive, we are going to put negative. It will reverse the whole function. That means this function, we are going to do this to make sure that this button does the opposite to what the next button does. We are going to put a negative sign here and put positive sign here again. Negative, and that's it. Let's run our thing. Put next, we have this big car. Previous, we get again our kushiash. Now it's done. We have to create a functionality for our play button. Let's connect a signal to our main script. Also button up. Let's create. Let's create our new scene. We are just going to call it level 1. We're just going to remain it to level 1. Let's branch to a scene. Let's merge from scene. We are going to select our main scene. We're going to just grab the ground, only the ground. That's it. Let's add a start position again. Let's add a position 3D as a child. rename it to start position. Start position, start pause, and that's it. Let's add a script. Rename it to level config and hit create. And lastly, let's add our new script called game base. Save it to scripts folder, to the script folder. Let's make this game-based script an autoload. Let's go to project settings, and then we go to our autoload tab. We select our script in our script folder, game base. Then we add, and you must make sure that this enable button is checked on. And then in our game base we are just going to declare some variables. Actually, for now, declare a variable. We are going to call it current vehicle. our main, to our play button, and write instruction for our play button base. Let's set our game base dot current vehicle to vehicle array dot current. Then we can now get the get tree dot change scene to level 1. Now let's play our scene. Now let's hit play. Ooh, what's happening? No, let's go to our level. Let's run our scene again. You can see we can change our vehicles. Let's hit play. It goes to our level. Let's say we want to change to let's say we want to select a different car. Let's select this one, this paking, green paking. It goes to our level 1. Then we can drive around. See, it works as perfectly as well. Okay, that's it.